2024. Back again in another Olympic year, so you know it's the pinnacle of any athlete's career. It's what we all train for. We all want glory at the Olympic Games. We all want to be an Olympic champion. Got it on my chest right here to set the vibe. In today's video, I really want to get into my goals for the season. So before I get into my goals, I want to talk about all the things that I've changed in order to get me there and get me the best chance to reach those goals, starting with number one, and that's my nutrition. So as an athlete, you know nutrition is so important for you and how you recover. It's definitely a key part in your success long term, so I definitely revamped all my nutrition, completely looked over everything and found ways that I can improve. First way that I was improving is going gluten-free. So I knocked out all the gluten that I was eating, and that's because it really inflames the body and I want to maximize my recovery. The best ability is availability, and I really want to make sure that I'm healthy this year and I'm able to go for those big goals that I'm setting for myself in 2024. The best thing that I could do for myself was to cut out that gluten. I'm also going all organic with my fruit and vegetables, and again, I really want the best quality foods. I want to put the best gasoline in my tank so that I can be the most optimal sprinter that I can be on the track this year. And the last thing is I get my raw dairy and my meat all from the farm to table. I'm trying to get the best organic, authentic, great food for myself so I can really nourish the body, get all those vitamins and nutrients out of my food. So I really feel really good on the track. I recover every day, and I really give myself the best chance to be the best version of myself. I even did a 3-day fast. I talked about this with Kenny in my episode of Fast Talk when we're going over the things that we're doing for this season. If you want to check that out, you can see what he was talking about in his experience, but I really feel like I reset the body, got all the things that were damaged in my cells and my tissues out of the way with that fast, and now I'm ready to go for a big year in this season. All right, we're gonna change locations because there's a lot of jet ski noise and a lot of debris in the way, so we're gonna make sure that we're getting my audio set because I really want you guys to understand what I'm doing this year. And number two, and the things that I'm changing for my season this year is my meet schedule. I know you guys are used to seeing me compete a lot. I'm one of the athletes that's very active on the circuit, and you guys see my face a lot because I feel like it's important to grow the sport for athletes to go out there and compete. A lot of things that people complain about is that athletes don't compete and line up, and I pride myself on being one of those athletes that's never afraid to line up and get my feet wet and mix it up with some of the fastest athletes in the world. But this year, I gotta be smart and mindful of my body. I am 31, turning 32, so I'm not a spring chicken anymore, fresh out of college. I gotta be mindful and pick my spots here. I'm still gonna be racing, but it'll be a little bit more local and not as much competition as often as you're used to seeing me. So I'm really gonna maximize myself and keep myself fresh going into the games. I will be attempting the triple, so in order to be ready for that, I gotta make sure that I'm primed and ready to go. The last thing that I'm changing for this year to give myself the best chance to reach my goals is my technique. That's always been a work in progress, and any athlete knows as a sprinter, there's nothing that you can do perfectly. There's always something you can improve. There's always room for improvement and ways you can get faster, hone in on your technique, and for me, that's no exception. I've always been working on my start, and I feel like it's at a place where I'm really comfortable, and I feel like I can be competitive with most athletes in the world. And now it's about putting the pieces to the puzzle all together and really creating my whole race pattern. And for now, what I need to focus on is getting a little bit more stride length out of my stride. Now, I know I'm a 6'1" sprinter and I'm one of the taller guys out there on the circuit, but I don't run like it. I have a really high rate of turnover and I run like a shorter sprinter. And I need to go back to embracing my gifts that God gave me. So I need to focus in on my stride length and increase that with that same stride rate, which should increase my speed overall. So if I can get that distance, really use my length, my legs, and keep that same rate of turnover, it's gonna lead to some great things. So that's what I'm working on at practice with my coach, really locking in on that and making sure I'm improving that. And I've seen some good strides, so big things on the horizon. So I know I said that was the third and last one, but I actually thought of another thing to improve my chances as a sprinter this year in the 2024 season, and that is working with a new sports site. I've done a lot of mental training in order to improve my confidence and get myself to be one of those confident sprinters that you see on the track. You know, typically you see a sprinter who's boastful and loud and very animated, and that's just not my natural personality. And I've kind of worked over the years to develop that and bring out my competitive nature in order to fit in with the rest of the sprint culture. Now, I'm gonna really manifest myself up here, what I think internally. And what I mean by that is, over the years, I've been kind of conservative with my goals. I would say, where am I? Where do I stack up against the rest of the sprinters? And what do I realistically think I can achieve? A lot of times, a lot of sprinters out there seem a little delusional with their goals. They'll say that they could be Olympic champion, and they do it in their mind before they actually go out there and do it with their feet. And I'm trying to get a little bit of that in my life. So I've worked a lot with a sports psych, and he's kind of retooled my brain and how I think about things. things. And with these goals that you're about to hear, they're gonna be pretty lofty, and that's because I'm not thinking limits this year. It's my 4th games. Why not go for the gusto and go for it all, go for the top spot? We're gonna get more into it, but I don't wanna get ahead of myself. But just know that I've worked for this sports psych, and I'm not gonna be that same humble AB from Toronto. I'm gonna craft a new athlete that's a little more boisterous, a little more cocky, a little more confident, and that should lead to different results. So I'm excited to see this new character that's gonna be gracing the track in 2024. All right, so we talked a lot about these goals and all the things that I put in place in order to help me get there. Now it's time to really dive into what those goals actually are. And right out the gate, I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I'm trying to win big. Like I said, I work with my sports psych, and I'm not putting any limits on myself and what I think I can achieve. I'm really trying to think I can achieve anything, think limitless, think anything is possible. That way, if I aim for the gold and I end up with a bronze, hey, that's a great scenario. Sometimes I'm a little conservative with what I think I can do, so I might aim for just getting on the podium and accepting that some people might beat me, and then I end up in the positions where I end up, which is 5th, 6th, and at some point you gotta get tired of finishing that same place and change things up, and that starts with up here. So psychologically, my main goal for this year is to think big, think I can win any race that I'm in, think that I prepared for this, I've done a lot to put myself in that position and put myself in place to be the best sprinter possible, and try and be the best sprinter in the world. Why not? When we're young kids, we don't think limits. We don't think, hey, that next guy is better than me. We just line up and think, I got what it takes to win. When you play video games, it's the same thing. You're playing carefree. It doesn't matter how good the person is that you're playing against. You're going out there and lining up to win. So I'm not going into any race this year thinking that I'm gonna lose. I'm thinking I'm gonna win every time that I line up, and I'll let the chips fall where they may. Obviously, if I don't win, there will be some races where I might not have the same result that I want, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go reflect and see what I did wrong and where I can get better. But it all starts with being really optimistic with 2024's season, and while we haven't had anything happen yet, I'm gonna aim for the best. And the other part to thinking limitless in 2024 is thinking records. It's been a long goal of mine to be Canadian record holder again. I broke it in 2014 when I ran 2016 and 200, way back in ancient times when that was the old Canadian record. It's now 19.6 and I still want it back. I've always wanted it back since it was broken, and I don't think that's something that I'm gonna give up on yet. I've done all these things in my career that led me to this point, and now I feel like is the time for me to really chase all the top things, go for the records, go for the top spots. Why not? I'm trying to really get back in my zone, be confident, and not just be delusional and just throw goals out there mindlessly. I put a lot of things in place and put a lot of work into giving myself the best chance to go chase it. And now it's just time to go out there and believe I can do it. And I didn't do all these things. I didn't make all these changes in my life for my career to not go for the top spot, to not go for record-breaking performances, go for history, put myself and really cement my legacy. My career right now, I'm very happy with how it's turned out. I love my legacy and the things that I've done with my career, but I'm still hungry and still trying to chase for more. So why not see how high I can go? I've climbed really high in the mountaintop. I've lasted a long time. This is my 10th pro season. I've been running track for a really long time. Why not see how far I can go with it? Why not see how far I can take it? I have my kids now who are looking up to me and watching me, and now it's about them, about showing them what's possible, going out there and chasing the stars. And even if I land on the clouds, that's still a good achievement for me to go out there and say, hey, I chased the top spot and I landed in this spot. As long as I pursue it, I'm happy with it at the end of the day. So at the end of this year, I want to leave with no stone unturned. I want to say that I left it all out there. I did everything possible to be the best version of Aaron Brown out there when I line up in Paris 2024. And when I walk off the track, I'll be happy. So there's nothing more to it than being your absolute best, leaving no room for excuses, no room for mistakes, giving yourself all the optimism, hyping myself up to do something great, because you know when you're chasing something great, you're gonna need some very big optimism to go and chase it. If I'm gonna go out there and fight a bear in the woods, I need some courage. I need to hype myself up, and this is what I'm doing. It's the equivalent of fighting a bear in the woods with my bare hands. It's going out there and trying to chase that top spot in Paris 2024. So I'm hyping myself up, put things in order. So I'm a very analytical guy. I want to say, like, have I done enough? Have I given myself the best chance? And I can firmly say, yes, I have this offseason. I've done everything I needed to do, revamp my recovery, revamp my training, revamp my psychology, all that stuff. The training's good, nutrition's good, everything's in place. So now it's just time to go out there and do it. And I'm gonna be mindful with my meet schedule. Like I said, I'm gonna be methodical with the spots that I'm training at and racing at. I'm building that confidence up. So by the time I get to Paris and I line up for that first race, I'm like, all right, it's go time. Now it's time to show the world what I can do.
Paris 2024 Olympics. Yeah, Paris 2024.
Of Paris 2024. Welcome to Paris next summer.
Catch the Paris Olympics July